Growing up in the 90s, I was a huge pro wrestling fan. I remember in 1999, I was watching WWF SmackDown on UPN. Now, if you remember the UPN, man, UPN was the days, man. We had the UPN, we had Moesha coming on, the Parkers, the Bernie Mac show, everything was going on. I remember an episode of the Bernie Mac show. It was before SmackDown, Thursday night SmackDown back in the day, because Tuesday SmackDown used to get taped and they used to get. But anyways, I remember a Bernie Mac episode on SmackDown. A Bernie Mac episode occurred on Thursday where Jordan met Triple H, and it was pretty dope. So pro wrestling was getting mainstream because you used to see wrestlers on SNL, MTV, comedy shows, sitcoms, everything. It was wrestling was dominating the world, and to me, wrestling is getting cool again. I repeat, wrestling is getting cool again. And I have always been an imaginative child that said, man, I want to see Superman versus Spider-Man, this, that, and the fourth. And I remember I was going to the Houston Public Library and I actually saw a Marvel versus DC comic book where it was like Marvel versus DC superheroes. And I wanted that book so bad, but I didn't get it because, I was a bad kid and my mom didn't want to get it for me. All right, so being a kid, I always just imagined collaborations of versus this, Freddy versus Jason, Hellraiser versus Michael Myers, Chucky versus Leprechaun. And then eventually I said, damn, I want to see WCW versus ECW versus WWF because that shit looked cool. Like, I was in love with wrestling. Like, I loved the WWF. I saw glimpses of ECW. I saw glimpses of WCW because I knew about the NWO. I watched clips of Monday Night Raw on Channel 47 Telemundo with Carlos Cabrera. I remember Carlos Cabrera. He was always excited. Like, he was like the Mexican Pat McAfee. Brody was excited. Uno, dos, tres! Randy Orton wins. Stone Cold, Steve Austin. It was amazing. So catching up on the Raw shows on Telemundo, watching it and watching SmackDown on UPN and things like that. If I go to a family member house watching USA Network or TNA or Spike TV, things was great. And I always remember the pro wrestling television shows literally jabbing each other, like WCW, ECW, WWF used to jab each other. And then the unthinkable happened in 2001. 2001 was a great year because it finally happened. It was literally WWF versus ECW versus WCW. Oh my God, I was so excited. I was so excited. And then the fast forward, we had the invasion angle, and it was insane, bro. It was insane. I remember in the invasion angle, they had DDP being Undertaker's stalker. I don't know if that was before or after the invasion, but it was like DDP revealed himself, and a lot of people hated it. But I loved it. I'm like, holy shit, Undertaker's wife has a stalker, and it's that boy DDP. Like, the diamond cutter guy, that guy, Diamond Dallas fucking Page, bro. Like, I was excited, bro. And then I'm like, bro, what if we had Sting and Goldberg and Triple H and all that? But a lot of those stars wasn't there. Like, we didn't have Triple H. We didn't have Sting. We didn't have Goldberg. We didn't have Lex Luger. We didn't have Scott Steiner. We didn't have all of those greats where we wanted to see DX versus NWO. We didn't have that. We had it in the latter years. And yeah. So eventually WWF won and WCW and ECW was out of business. And then they did an ECW revival. People hated it. I liked it at first. At first I liked it when it was original ECW. I did like it at first once it went silver and shit and got soft and PG. It sucked. But let's discount that. Then later years we had TNA wrestling shooting jabs at WWF and WWE. And I remember the very first day that I thought something like an invasion was going to happen or a truce was going to happen. I think it was in 2008 or 12, I forgot. It was Slammiversary. Christian was the WWE Intercontinental Champion on SmackDown. And he was a WWE superstar. And I remember I was hearing like it was rumors and rumblings of Ric Flair being inducted into the Hall of Fame that year or the year after. 2008 or 12, part of the Four Horsemen. So, anywho, Christian literally appeared in the TNA ring, and I was like, oh my fucking God. I found ways to see it, and I was excited to say, oh my God, that's the Intercontinental Champion right now in the WWE in a TNA ring right now, hyping up Slammiversary, and it was fucking awesome. Then a year or so later, or months later, we had Ric Flair being inducted to the Hall of Fame, and he was in TNA. So I kind of liked that, and things was getting a little bit different. Then decades later, we had multiple Royal Rumbles where TNA superstars appear in a WWE ring as champions. Then a few months ago, we had a AEW versus WWE match with Shayna Baszler versus the AEW superstar. So I'm bringing this up because a couple weeks ago, Jack Perry and CM Punk's footage of All In London was aired on AEW on TBS. Now you gotta realize this, people. Think about it. TBS and TNT were channels, or Turner channels, that was the rival channels of USA Network or UPN. The rival networks, the Turner networks was the rival channels. And maybe my facts is wrong. Shit, quote me right. Quote me right, quote me wrong. But the Turner network was always known for sticking it to the WWE. So, with the Turner network doing it again, I'm like, okay, this just ain't coincidental. Because, honestly, it could be a cease and desist law, and somebody can get sued. But both of these companies is fucking filthy rich. So what you gonna do? You can't sue them because at the end of the day, it's still a win-win for the company because you're giving CM Punk more credibility any fucking way. So what to do? So yeah. And then it was rumblings of Jack Perry appearing back. But I think due to the track record of WWE versus ECW versus WCW occurring, we never ever in our life thought that was going to happen. I remember going to Cash McGordon's Elementary or Betsy Ross Elementary in Houston, Texas, and we was talking about it. We was a lot of us sitting at the table. We said, it's never going to happen. Never going to happen. And I said, I feel like this shit go happen. People said, Milton, you're a fucking idiot. That shit's not going to happen. And when it happened, oh my God. I was excited. I told the school to fuck off and suck my dick. I was right, bitch. I was excited. And part of me is a little bit excited again, being a 32-year-old grown man-child, stating that it may be WWE versus ECW. And I bought it up in my last YouTube video, but the audio didn't work. So I had to re-record the video. Last week, that was one of my best videos. But hey, this is a new week. The audio should be working. I hope so. Because I tested it. But I'm uploading this video, so the audio should work. So, seeing the CM Punk and Jack Perry video was pretty interesting. I'm not going to lie. I was hooked. A lot of people was pissed. JD from New York was pissed. Jim Cornette was... A lot of people was mad. Every single pro wrestling podcaster was mad. Every wrestling personality was pissed. Damn near. But I wasn't mad. I was like, nah, man, I'm not. You got to be there. You got to... Being part of the 1% crew, man, remember this. When you are 1%er, that means you are different and you're unique. You don't always got to jump on the bandwagon because 1%ers don't jump on the bandwagon. Not at all. They are the people that pave their way. They are the people that think different, think outside the box, think original. And once those 1%ers do good, people want to build up. Those 99%ers that's geared towards something want to steal the idea. It's similar to when like Jordan Peele made Get Out. This shit was a little bit different. We didn't expect that. But that was a 1%er. We're really not in a 1% universe right now because in the movie world, we got the same fucking types of movies, same types of video games, everything. Look at Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the same. 2K is the same. Everything is the same and it's not different. But once you come with something different, it's crazy. So I think the different thing is me, right? be that 1% of the YouTube community and the IWC community thinking it's gonna be another invasion. And one thing about being a 1%er, you could be right, you could be wrong. Now, Jack Perry returned last Sunday on Dynasty. People was mixed, but it was an 80-20 rule mix. 20% people was hating, 80% was like happy to see Jack Perry. Because back then, 99% of the wrestling community hated Jack Perry, didn't give two shits about him at all. But we go to the 80-20 rule, 80% gave a fuck about him, and 20% don't give a fuck about him. Or 90% gave a fuck about him, and 10% didn't. So, that's amazing right now. WWE, it's amazing because look at this. Wrestling is so cool again that the next forbidden door is going to be in Long Island, New York. Come on, boy. You already know who from Long Island, New York. It's motherfucking MJF. Who knows what may occur? Because I don't know. Maybe we may not get a forbidden door, but we may get something. Because your boy Broken Matt Hardy's in TNA, and people are saying he's a free agent right now. And Jeff Hardy's in AEW right now. Christian and Edge is in AEW right now. The Dudleys are in WWE right now. Oh my God. What if we do WWE versus AEW versus TNA? The Dudleys versus the Hardys versus Edge and Christian again. What if we do a WWE versus AEW thing? Because to me, just a theory or hypothesis, to me, I think that shit's going to happen simply because of Jack Perry coming back into AEW, CM Punk coming back to the WWE, and you haven't heard word from Punk or WWE about this situation in a minute. But again, wrestling is cool again. Look on the WWE side right now. Drew McIntyre shot a promo last night talking about how people are calling Sheamus fat, body shaming him. Bro, wrestling ain't that PG kitty shit for these idiotic snowflakes we have. Wrestling is getting intense again. We got motherfucking Drew McIntyre shooting a promo about Sheamus' weight, and a lot of fucking wrestling fans is roasting Sheamus about his fucking weight. A lot of wrestlers' personalities is roasting this man about his weight. But I'm not a scientist. But when you break your back, it's going to take you a long time to develop muscle. But you got to heal that muscle because when you lift, you gotta lift. That's why they always say lift with your legs and don't lift with your back because you could break your back. Sheamus will get in shape real soon. He's gonna get in shape real soon. Bulk up. I'd rather him be like looking like that, and once he bulk up and exercise, it's good. Because you know that nigga not on steroids. Because if Sheamus came back looking jacked up, first thing you fucking fans is gonna say is steroids. Whatever. But at the end of the day, WWE versus AEW or TNA versus AEW or whatever may occur. Because New Japan Pro Wrestling already got good relationships with both companies. And then I'm going to trip y'all even more with a great Easter egg that flew right over y'all heads. That flew right over y'all heads. Booker T. WWE's Uncle Tom, I say. I've said this multiple times. Booker T literally has AEW, TNA, and WWE talent appearing in reality of wrestling. Booker T is literally a WWE legend. Has a Legends contract that appears on pre-shows, and he's part of NXT commentary team, my boy. And he is talking to AEW and WWE and TNA superstars, interacting with them and mentioning their content in his podcast over here in Houston, Texas, where I'm from. So that right there just don't add up, because back in the day, that shit wouldn't have been cool. You can't be talking to WWE or ECW talent. You can't be talking to pro wrestling talent, but Booker T is. So that right there is a really good context clue that y'all got to really look at and say, bro, maybe a merger may occur. Maybe a merger is going to occur. Maybe we're going to have a forbidden door. Maybe we're going to have an invasion angle, because jab after jab after jab, all three companies jab each other. Except TNA, everybody jab each other. TNA don't do it that much, but they do it. But AEW and WWE always do it. Especially AEW. They stay jabbing. And the fucking Jack Perry video and CM Punk video was the biggest ballsy jab in the world. People say, well, that's slandering. In politics, that's slandering somebody. Okay. But did you see anybody get sued? Did you see anybody get hurt? When Jack Perry returned, wrestling fans was fucking happy. Some people was haters. You win an internet wrestling community like I'm in a gaming community. You can't please nobody in this world. You can have a perfect WWE, a AEW, a TNA. We can live in a perfect fucking universe. Jesus could come back right now and just forgive, he could forgive us for our sins, take us all to heaven, let us repent, then give people the second chance in life to live. And Jesus say, yo, just do this for me and I guarantee you'll be in heaven. Guess what? Despite Jesus Christ saying that to somebody, watch a person still mess up and be negative and be worse. So this is just the world we're living in. In the internet wrestling community, in the gaming community, some people are miserable. They like to be negative. And we're going to have negative fans. But for us positive fans, passionate fans, just imagine another invasion. Because this invasion is going to be way better, man. But, yo, if you like my content, subscribe to me. If you don't like my content, comment. Tell me what I should do better. But at the end of the day, if you're viewing this video, I want you to subscribe to The Real MJ. It's right there. It's right there. Alright? So thank you and have a great day.